Hello team, welcome to week 1 of Laurel Creek's intern program. This week's video is an introduction to the golf course industry. I will highlight some trends that will hopefully demonstrate what I find exciting about the future of our business. Then I will preview the next 2 weeks of material, which will cover the industries that surround turf management and the variety of career opportunities in those industries. But first, a couple housekeeping items about the intern program here at Laurel Creek. So, what to expect from the intern program? So, the main form of content delivery is going to be a weekly email from me, which is going to contain a couple administrative things like the schedule for the upcoming week and some announcements that might be important. The main thing is going to be a short video, much like this, that's going to be a maximum of 20 minutes, where I'm going to highlight the main points for that week's learning goals, and then additional to the video will be some industry publications, university research, Laurel Creek specific information, and then any additional videos on the topics for that week. So the main thing I would like everybody to try to do every week is just watch the video, and that'll give you the general idea of what we're trying to cover that week. And then obviously, we're going to attempt to integrate some on-the-job training for each topic every week. But sometimes, depending on the schedule and what else we got going on that week, it's not always possible. But by the end of the summer, we hope to get you on the job training for each of the topics that are going to be covered in the program. Now I just want to go over our goals for the program. So first off, we want to build on Laurel Creek's history of educating the next generation of turf managers. Turf interns have come through Laurel Creek quite regularly, and it's a point of emphasis for us that we want to teach people how to manage turf. Number two, introduce motivated individuals to the career opportunities in the golf course industry. The nature of an internship program is you're trying to figure out what you want to do for a career. And you might find out that turf management, in our respect, isn't exactly what you want to do, but there are other opportunities in the business, and you got your foot in the door in an industry. And hopefully, we can help you find something that maybe you do want to try to do in the realm of turf management. And then lastly, we want to prepare our team members for future success regardless of their career path. So we just want to help you get better at being a good worker, being a good employee, being a good team member. If you have any questions about the format of the program, please let me know. So now let's get into some fun stuff. All right. Here we have a bar graph showing the number of participants in golf on a golf course in the US from 2006 to 2019. So we see a little general trend downwards towards a leveling off here. So in 2019, it looks like the number of people on average playing golf in the United States is leveling off. Now we see the number of golf courses and country clubs in the US from 2011 to 2021. Again, kind of a similar trend to participation where we have a slight drop off and then a leveling off, and even, a sustained decrease, maybe helped a little bit by the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, but either way, the general trend is the number of golf courses in the US is decreasing. So given those two trends, we now see an industry revenue projection for the golf course and country club industry, and we see a slight increase coming by 2024. So the question is, if it appears that the participation and number of golf courses is decreasing and the industry is contracting, why is the projected revenue expected to rise for the golf course and country club industry? Maybe the answer lies in TV viewership for golf events. More people are watching golf, and they expect more people to start playing golf. But looking at these ratings, clear downward trend, especially with the Masters, even though it is a very popular event and has higher ratings than all the other major championships, even that is subject to decreases in viewership. Here we have some numbers on the driving range businesses in the United States. and we're seeing an uptick in driving range businesses throughout the country. And I think you can all guess one of the major players in that industry. So the business I'm talking about is, of course, Topgolf, which, as you can see here, was acquired by Callaway through a merger in 2021, and that is a business that generates $1 billion in sales. So you look at all those TikToks of people falling off the balconies at Topgolf. Clearly, people have never swung a golf club before. So what this Topgolf is doing is it's exposing people who've never played the game to golf before. It's a new route of exposure for the industry. And I think that's having some trends, and we can see that in the following slides. Here's some sales data from the holding company that owns the Titleist and FootJoy brands. Look at their sales throughout the years, relatively steady, and then all of a sudden in 2021, a $500 million increase in revenue. That's massive from one year to the next. And it's even more important because even though there was a pandemic in 2020 with a shutdown, the sales are much different from 2014 to 2020, and then all of a sudden 2021, massive increase, and that's in golf balls, golf clubs, Titleist gear, and FootJoy footwear. So clearly there's a massive increase in the purchasing of golf equipment, and maybe that's an indication of new people coming out for the sport. This is just another image of wholesale golf equipment, golf clubs, golf balls, and then other accessories. Again, much like the Titleist brands, the wholesale golf equipment, you're seeing an increase from 2019 to 2020, and then general trend upwards. In summary, the avenue exposure is changing. People are coming into contact with golf through venues like Topgolf now. Equipment sales can indicate the potential for participation to increase. So that leads to the question of where are these new golfers expected to play if the number of golf courses continues to decrease? One thing's for certain, the volume of play at existing golf courses is going to continue to increase. And this brings along new challenges for turf managers. We have to manage the expectations of the next generation of golfers. Are they still going to push for the same conditions that are expected now? Then we'll have to maintain our course conditions in accordance with an increased volume of play, which results in more wear and tear on the turf and different management practices. And as we're all well aware, defining all industry development is a push towards environmental sustainability, and golf courses are absolutely no exception because we exist in the environment out in nature. So everything we do moving forward has to have an environmentally conscious element to it. And this is presenting a wide variety of challenges for industry that we are ready to tackle. Challenges in turf management are met by the network of industries that surround our business. Turf managers are supported by a variety of industries. The major ones include the equipment industry. This is John Deere, Toro, both of which are major multinational, multi-billion-dollar corporations. There's the agricultural chemical industry, which is a massive, massive industry that is valued about $500 billion. That includes companies like Syngenta, BASF, Bayer, just to name a few. Irrigation and construction. You'll find as you're on the golf course longer that when we have to do major projects with heavy equipment, we have to be very gentle with the turf because you can't just take a heavy piece of equipment on the golf course that's going to impact playability. So large scale construction projects, large scale irrigation projects, they're handled by specialty companies that are specifically designed to do work on golf courses. And there's a whole plethora of them competing for business on golf courses. Then you have the research side of the business where major universities have giant funded uh, development programs for turfgrass breeding or chemical efficacy trials, stuff like that. And turf managers have access to a lot of really good data and best management practices developed by PhDs and graduate students. And then you have the smaller industries of golf course specific manufacturing products, things of that nature. And this doesn't even include the hospitality side of the business, which is, of course, a major part. And in all these industries, there are employees that are engineers, scientists, mechanics, architects, salespeople, PhDs doing research. There's people on a golf course staff, like the equipment technician or the spray technician, who specialize in application and planning of the chemical program or equipment maintenance planning, stuff like that. Uh, Irrigation technicians who specialize in taking care of a golf course's irrigation system. So there's a lot of specific jobs in these industries that you can learn on the golf course, and that can prepare you to move on and go into sales of chemicals, go into sales of equipment, because you've been on the golf course and you know how this stuff is supposed to work. You have an understanding of the requirements for turf managers that you can go and be an effective salesman, or you could work in research and development and say, hey, this is a major problem that a lot of courses have, and I have experience with it, and this is an idea I have to develop a new piece of equipment. There's tons of opportunities outside of just working on the golf course, and the first step in moving on is understanding what's required of these industries, what they need to provide the turf industry with. And that's what you're doing right now. You're gaining experience, you have a foothold, and you know what we need to expect. So, in the coming weeks, we're going to dive into these topics and detail the various career opportunities in turf. So, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and let's have a great week.